How does an elected official earn the public's trust? And how do they lose it? Mayor of Shasta Lake City, Janice Powell was born in 1957. Her parents were Jack and Darlene Powell. Jack and Darlene were both the children of workers who came to Northern California to build the Shasta Dam during the Great Depression. Jack was a veteran of the Korean War. He spent his career in construction. Darlene was a homemaker and a teacher's aide. One of 4 siblings, Janice's family life centered around the lake. She attended Central Valley High School and graduated in 1975. Throughout her adult life, Janice worked a number of odd jobs, mostly in the service industry. In the early 90s, Jack and Darlene bought a 1968 Chevy Chevelle convertible. The car was their pride and joy, and the couple spent many hours riding the Chevelle in parades and classic car competitions. In 1996, Jack and Darlene formed a family trust. In the event of their deaths, all of their possessions, including the Chevelle, would be divided equally among their 4 children. Janice and her brother were listed as co-trustees. In 2010, Janice needed a place to live and moved in with her parents. According to court documents, the move was meant to be temporary, with the understanding that Janice would move out once she had saved enough money to rent a place of her own, but that never happened. She stayed in the home, rent-free, for the next 11 years. In 2011, Janice's life took a political turn. She was active in the effort to recall Dolores Lucero from the city council. Janice gave speeches and was a prominent figure at rallies. The recall was successful and Lucero was ousted from the city council and served a short prison term. A lifelong Democrat, Janice decided to run for city council in 2016. There were 3 openings on the council and only 3 candidates, so Janice took her seat by default, without having to campaign for a single vote. Janice's signature issue as councilwoman was making Shasta Lake City more attractive to businesses, especially the cannabis industry. Janice would later also work for the Chamber of Commerce as their executive director. Janice is now in her 2nd term as mayor of Shasta Lake City. In that role, she and the rest of the council are responsible for millions of dollars of the people's money. By 2021, things were not well in the Powell home. Jack Powell, then 92 years old, was suffering from advanced dementia as a result of Alzheimer's disease. Darlene, who was 87, could no longer care for herself or her husband, and they both moved into a retirement home. The cost of the retirement home was considerable, and they were unable to pay their bills. To offset those costs, Darlene Powell decided to sell their home, but Janice refused to move out. Out of options, Darlene filed a temporary restraining order and other legal actions against her daughter. In those complaints, Darlene accused Janice of elder abuse and sought to have her removed from the home. In one instance, Janice took her father to the DMV and coerced him to sign over the title to his Chevelle. Darlene Powell was incensed when she found out and demanded that Janice return the title, but she refused. Darlene was scheduled to testify against her daughter on January 3, 2022. Tragically, she died that same morning of a heart attack while waiting for her ride to the courthouse. A year later, Janice's brother sued her on behalf of the family trust. The court found Janice guilty of breach of trust, breach of fiduciary duty, unjust enrichment, and financial elder abuse against her parents. She was removed as trustee and ordered to pay over $100,000 in penalties and to return the Chevelle. Janice defied the court and refused to return the vehicle. A writ of possession was issued and the sheriff's department searched for the Chevelle, but was unable to find it. After the story broke on Facebook and in local conservative media, a tow truck arrived unexpectedly at the home of one of Janice's siblings. On the truck was the missing Chevelle, but it was no longer in running condition and did not include the pink slip. It is unknown whether Janice will ever return that pink slip or ever pay the damages she owes the trust, which far exceed her portion of that trust. Janice, who has little money and few assets to her name, will likely never pay back the money she owes. Also unknown is why local news outlets have not covered this story of a high-ranking public official found guilty of serious misconduct, or why the district attorney has not pressed charges against Janice for defying a lawful order. Janice's seat on the council is up for re-election in November. The people of Shasta Lake City will decide if she wins another term and if she deserves the public's trust, or whether, Like her parents' '68 Chevelle, Janice's re-election is a non-starter.
Bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, "This'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die." They were singing,